Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This is another episode of Birminology. Today, we are talking with Ohio State 2025 safety target Faheem Delane, one of the country's best defensive backs in the junior class, and a player that is extremely high in Ohio State, and the Buckeyes are reciprocating that interest. Enough of my rambling. Let's get to Faheem Delane on the latest episode of Birminology. As promised, Faheem Delane joins us now on the podcast. Faheem, thank you for taking some time to join us. I've wanted to talk to you since I watched you play in Ohio about 3 weeks ago against Lakewood St. Edward. You guys did not, get the job done that day. I told you we'd reach out afterward because I don't like to bug you on the field after a game, especially one that's a tough loss. How's this season been for you so far, as you guys are now, all month into it?
It's been good. Definitely a learning process. We definitely just gelling more as a defense in the team. So, there's that aspect. We got a lot of leaders on our team. So a lot of people to lead the youngins on the team. So yeah, just gelling together and trying to put the best product on the field.
As a young guy yourself, I thought it was interesting watching your team sort of fall in line behind you. I know juniors you're not a young guy, you're not a freshman or a sophomore, but how have you found yourself taking on that leadership role in your team? Is that just something that comes natural for you? Is it something that you have tried to make yourself, more aware of? Because it seemed like, of all the guys out at the front of the line, there weren't many juniors, but you were out there.
Mhm. Definitely. I think it comes natural and something you got to work on too. Because, my freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't really like a loud guy. I'm not really like a talkative, like all loud and a rah-rah type guy. But when it calls for it, it calls for it. You got to step up to the plate. So, we needed leadership, and I think that was a role I had to step into, and it came naturally too, just being one of the more, I would say, just skilled and better guys on the team. That's a role you got to play because people are gonna look up to you, the younger kids. So you have that aspect too, and just trying to put more myself, like a team on my back, because we don't have. I want to say, like you said, I'm an oldest guy, but we don't have a lot of older guys on the team, so that's a role I have to play. Sort of.
Watching you play that day, that Sunday afternoon, you were all over the field. As a safety right now in high school, there is a lot of responsibility sometimes that for you guys who are the higher recruited players, the more physical guys, to play almost like a linebacker at times because you're in the box so much. How has that affected the way that college coaches have approached you?
I think that just makes me more versatile. I think because it's a guy that can play multiple positions. Because I have the size to play outside linebacker or even in the box anywhere. I think, and just being able to play like a deep half and then being able to rush the edge and then be able to shoot the big gap. It's just so much versatility in that. So you got three players that want to do all jobs.
With Ohio State, I know that's a team that is very interested in you. Coach Perry Eliano, the one primarily leading the charge in that recruitment. How do they say that they see you in their defense? Because we joke about it all the time around Columbus, that it's a safety driven defense. If safety is the bread and butter of the defense, how do they approach you? What role do they see you playing?
They have this role called the bandit in their defense. So it's like the bandit, sort of like a nickel safety. So you could be covering a deep half, or you could be blitzing. So they have multiple safeties. So it's definitely like an early. I think that's a plus too, also, because it's definitely like you have potential to play early because you have so many positions open. So I think that's a good thing too. So yeah.
Before taking too much of a detour away from Ohio State, I want to stick there. How does that relationship with Eliano right now stack up for you? And are you watching as a recruit what other safeties around the country do in order to look at, hey, the depth chart here may be really open, or, I see an opportunity here. How do you evaluate your own opportunity by watching others?
Definitely. I'm definitely looking to play early. I mean, I'm not like I want to look and see who's there, but I'm not scared of any competition. So I think I'm gonna go in, and I'm not scared to compete for that job. So uh, it plays a little factor, but like if there's a person in front of me, maybe like 2 years or a year, I'm not scared to compete or anything. So yeah.
And as far as the relationship with Eliano goes, what makes it unique? What do you like about him? What is it that he brings to the table that maybe keeps Ohio State near the front of your mind?
Yeah, that's my guy. Like I would say he's one of my favorite DB coaches. He's very like a family man, I would say. So like there's that aspect where he cares about football, but he's trying to develop you as a man too. And then also he's very like straightforward. He tells you what he sees, and he teaches me the game too, because that's the biggest piece for me, learning the game. Because we broke down film multiple times, like hours in the film room. So like he really picked my brain, and I think that's a big thing for like coaches. Because like you got the college, but you got to see who can really develop you to that next level. He definitely showed me that. So he's definitely my favorite DB coach. Like I would say out of any coach. That's why I love coaching now as my dog.
How many times have you been to Columbus? I mean, how many times have you been on campus at Ohio State?
Uh, Michigan. I want to say 3 Michigan game, and then my freshman year, and I just recently down there for the little barbecue event or something like that. Yeah.
So, is there something as you go back each time? Is there something else that you're trying to learn or pick up? I mean, you're one of the highest recruited players in the country. You're top 5 safety across everyone's rankings. You've seen a ton of schools. You're going to see a lot more schools as this process unfolds. Like, what do you actually look for when you're on campus, or what's valuable? I guess because it seems like sometimes to me, outside looking in, there's a lot of stuff that recruits do that doesn't seem like it would actually be beneficial. It's just like for show.
Yeah, definitely. You got to definitely, like I said, the film room is a big piece because, everybody wants to get on a visit, take the cool pictures, put on the uniform, look all fresh. But at the end of the day, that don't really mean too much when you're out there. Everybody goes, you use a number at that point when you get to college. So you really got to do something so that's going to really benefit you and to create like longevity when you're there. So whatever they can pick your brain. And so I say like the film room, seeing how the players interact with the coaches. So I think that's why like it's a big thing to get down during game days, see how people, especially big games, when there's going to be some conflict in there, so you can see how people react, see how the players react, and all that to the coaches. So like that player-coach relationship, like that respect, or like our coaches and like yelling at each other like they don't know what to do when it comes crunch time, all that stuff. So yeah.
Well, you were at Ohio State, obviously, then for the biggest game, the Ohio State-Michigan game, and it's a game Ohio State lost, which doesn't happen very often, but you got an opportunity to see conflict up front. How did that opportunity or that experience shape things for you? Did you see the response you would like to see from coaches in that situation, or was it something where you're like, hey, I need to see more?
Definitely. At the end of the game, they lost. UNC were pointing hands when you could have pointed at specific players, but nobody really pointed that hand. Because at the end of the day, it's called the brotherhood. So they gathered at the end of the game, all lined up, and then did the little thing. So that was good. Man, even though coach on the sideline, he just clapped it up, come get back, get that next play. So yeah, definitely, they definitely check that part off for me.
When's the next visit to Columbus for a game? Or is that like the Penn State game this year, Michigan State, or is that not scheduled out yet?
That's what it's probably gonna be Penn State. Yeah, that's one my dad wants to go to. So yeah.
For you, Faheem, as you evaluate all these schools that are looking at you, obviously there are, and you have your pick of anyone in the country, really, which is, I assume, pretty surreal. But do you feel like you've learned anything about yourself here on the recruiting trail in the last 2 months, especially since coaches have been able to reach out as much as they want? Has it started to annoy you? How do you feel about this entire process in general?
I would say it's definitely like, I would say, you're waiting for that moment all the time, but like once it comes, it's sort of a little different. But I take it all with like gratitude and all just being grateful. Because when you're young, when you're younger, it's really what you pray for, what you dreamed of, having all these colleges coming after you, and you work for it. So it's definitely a surreal thing. Definitely just grateful for everything, grateful to God for everything. So yeah, I'm not really annoyed by it too much or anything. I'm just grateful.
You seem to handle it well, though. You don't post a lot of stuff on social media. You're not out there looking for attention. So, I mean, who's guiding you in this process, and how have they helped you sort of maintain a level head and stay humble?
Definitely my mom and my dad, they always talking about get off that phone. So, how to order the OGs be. So, get off that phone. They always stay in the books. Just keep a level head. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Just keep faith in God. And, I got a brother. He plays for Virginia Tech. So he went through the same process as me. So he tells me everything that happened with him. Don't coaches talk to you a lot, talk this, talk that. Just you gotta. That's what really made me focus on the small things in the recruiting process because of him. So that was definitely a big thing for me.
When you're not playing football, who are you? What do you like? What interests you outside of sports?
Uh, I like drawing. I like cooking. You know, I'm a morning guy, breakfast guy. So I can make some pancakes, some eggs, some good breakfast. So I like that, and I also like science too. Right now, experiments, all that type of stuff. So yeah.
What? Okay, I'm a breakfast everyday guy. Okay, like I think that people who aren't, I seriously begin to question them as people. One of my good coworkers is like not into breakfast, and I'm just like, what's wrong with you? What is the way that you go with your eggs? Is it fried eggs where you're dipping toast? Are you going scrambled? What's the Faheem Delane egg specialty?
It all depends on the weekend. You know, you got a lot of time. I'm at scrambling, but on a school day, just crack them, pop them in there, and then just put a little salt and pepper on it, and then just eat it. Might put some toast with it. Might put it in a sandwich with some cheese and some mayonnaise. But it really just depends how much time I got. So yeah.
That's an elevated move, man. The mayonnaise on the egg sandwich is something that is not. It's not something that a lot of people do, but I think it's just because they're afraid of it. But it is the way to go on an egg
Definitely
sandwich.
the way. Definitely.
Now I know why the coaches around the country like you so much. You're much smarter than your age would indicate. What do you want out of the rest of this process, Faheem? Like, where do you see it going, and how do you envision a decision getting made when you have all these options, you have all these opportunities? What ultimately is going to be the most important thing?
I would say where I can grow as a player and as a man too. So definitely where I can grow as a player. Uh, my family, my mom. My mom is a big aspect of my life. I love my mom, so she has a big say in it too. And my dad. My dad was a big part of my whole recruitment process as a kid. Like why I started playing football, to be honest. So if he says no, that's gonna really mean a lot to me. Like if he's not gonna say no though, because you know he's more so on my side. Wherever I go, he's gonna support me unless it's like a big major thing. But yeah, you know, just my family, where I can learn, where I can play the earliest, and all that.
Now, as a guy that is not a big attention seeker in this process, how do you have like a date circled where you say, "Hey, I'd like to have this finished by the time I start my senior year, or the time I, finish my junior year"? Like, what do you see yourself timeline wise working on?
I want to do by the end of junior season, but who knows? We'll see where it takes us. Might do it like beginning of senior season. We'll see. But I want to get it done by before my senior season. Just get it out of the way. Just commit to school. I don't think I'm gonna be one of those like decommit commit guy. I think I'm gonna pretty much have my mindset on it and just do that. And then yeah, just go with that and just stay with that team.
For Ohio State, last thing I'll get you out of here. On the visits you've been there, how much of an opportunity have you had to connect with Ryan Day? What do you think about him as the man in charge of the Ohio State program? And now, how comfortable are you with Coach Day?
Nah, Coach Day, that's my guy. We had a little baseball thing going on. He definitely hit a little more baseball or baseballs than me at the little thing. So yeah, he's a great coach, a great person. Just a great guy overall. Uh, and very genuine. You say like he's not too high on himself, like he's too good for everybody else. He's a very genuine head coach, and I like that about him. So he's definitely I would say right now Ohio State's definitely my favorite coaching staff for the coaches. They all very genuine, very real, and can teach me the game. So
Well, look, man, you got a lot of things to sort through and a lot of time to figure it out. Hopefully, we'll see you in Columbus next month. And again, I really do appreciate you taking time to join us. I told you I'd try to get you out of here in 12 or 13 minutes. So I'm going to do my best to honor that and let you get on with your night. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck in your game. And we will talk to you soon.
thank you, appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. That's Faheem Delane. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on the podcast. Thanks for watching.